Rock Zone. Kawan J.
DJ One. The group, homie. The mixtape show. The mixtape show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mixtape Show. It is time for this week's Artist of the Week interview, man. And this week's Artist of the Week is joining us, man. He had just released a dope project called Pam Grier's Stepkids. Dope project. There's a dope project's a follow-up. A lot of dope guests on there. You know what I'm saying? We've heard his work on the show before. And I just recently put two and two together on this brother's work and another artist that we featured on here, Touch. We play a lot of too. And then I put it together, I was like, Touch and Moves. So we have DJ Moves in the building, man, joining us on the Mixtape Show for the Artist of the Week interview. How you doing today, brother? How you?
Good, very good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Yeah, man. So I'm always familiar with Touch's work, and I recall hearing him always say Touch and Moves on some of his joints or whatever. And then after I kind of heard him on this project, I was like, oh shit, light bulb moment. You know what I'm saying? Finally went off.
Touch is one of my good homies, man.
Dope, man, dope. So we're gonna get into the project here in a little bit, man. But let's talk about you first of all, man. You know, in this big old planet, we end up where we are, man. How did you end up in north of the border in Canada? Born and raised, the whole family's up there, or how did you end up there?
I was born here where I live now in Truro, Nova Scotia. It's about an hour from Halifax.
Okay.
And then after high school, I spent a couple of years looking for a job in this little town. I couldn't find shit, and I was actually. My mother wanted me out of her house so bad that she took me to the welfare office and made the guy pay her to have me in the house.
Oh, wow.
So I got out of there as quick as possible and moved to Halifax and was making a lot of music with a lot of people out there. And then I got the chance to be, I was friends with those guys in a group called Len. Mm-hmm. They were a rock group at the time, and said that they told me they wanted to move on to some more sampling beats and keep it kind of half rock and half like poppy. What they said at the time was they wanted old school rap flavor. Mm-hmm. So they moved me to Toronto at that point, and I sat in all their production and all their. They had asked me who I thought that they should get as guests because they got a record deal and they could get whoever they wanted.
Okay.
And me being the hip hop guy in the group, they asked me who they should get, and I was like, well, you got to get fucking Biz Markie if you can. Mm-hmm. Like that, why wouldn't you?
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
And they ended up getting him, and they got Curtis Blow, and they got CC DeVille from Poison, and a couple other big ass group people too. But yeah, it was cool to meet all those people.
Nice.
During that time, we toured the whole world, and we got a platinum single out of it. That song "Steal My Sunshine," and that was pretty much the best part of the whole thing. Was just going everywhere for free. Mm-hmm. And then pretty much just getting drunk for free everywhere. It was all just totally having fun the whole time. There was no bad part about it.
Yeah.
But at the time, one of the places we had toured to was Vancouver, and we just thought it was such a different looking place than anywhere else in Canada, where there was mountains and it was all nice and it was beaches. It was wintertime. It was still warm. Mm-hmm. So we all moved to Vancouver, and when they left and the group stopped, I just stayed there and met a lot of people and did a lot of stuff.
Nice. So when you were on tour, was the touring mostly Canada, or did you leave the country and kind of tour other parts as well?
With that group, I toured the whole world.
Wow. So how was that? Because this is that for those out there. There was a pre-internet stage, right, where the world didn't hear your music instantly. It kind of had to travel slowly to wherever you are. So how did it feel to you when you were kind of hitting those countries and they were bopping to the music and kind of vibing with it?
It was pretty surreal, really. At that point, like I said, we just were on a total happiness high.
Uh-huh.
Really, like, and it just didn't even seem real at the time.
Yeah.
All these guys from these little towns fucking got together because none of us were actually from Toronto. We all just came together there and lived there at the time. But yeah, it was pretty bonkers.
Nice. So I know you mentioned a lot of rock. You mentioned some hip hop. So what was your soundtrack coming up when you were growing up in the house with mom and everything like that? What's some of the Saturday morning cleanup songs that you can remember listening to?
My parents in the car driving to places and in the house. I guess what you'd call it now is yacht rock is what they listen to all the time. They listen to like Steely Dan and groups like Uriah's Heep. Like, not even, they listen to a lot of obscure shit too, but the first group that I was in high school were called Hip Club Groove. And I had sampled my dad's whole record collection for that record.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had no records at that point. I had just bought a mixer and bought two Technics 1200s with my money from working as a bag boy at the freaking supermarket in 1991. And I sampled all the songs from his records.
The artist sampling is, I know it's different now, but I know just listening to your project now, you can tell that you're a heavy digger, and hitting the record stores and stuff like that, man. So, I just love that time period, man, when everything was just kind of new. Like you said, now it's called yacht rock, but back then it didn't have a name. It was just music, right? Hip hop. Hip hop wasn't hip hop at the time. It was just, guys rapping and stuff like that.
100%. Yeah.
So
was what it was.
Exactly. So when you kind of look back at that, man, and basically you kind of grew up in a lot of birth of a lot of genres and stuff like that. How does that make you feel? Like, wow, man, I actually experienced some pretty dope, especially in the 80s, because the 80s had the most music come out of the 80s. I think out of all generations, the 80s probably produced the most music. So when you kind of
100%.
Look back at that kind of stuff, and it's like, man, I was actually there when that started. Or you have a conversation with somebody who's younger than you, and you talk about that. Do they kind of look at you like, wow?
Yeah, you're old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. I am 50 years old, but I know it sounds cliche, but I don't feel like I'm 50 years old, so
Absolutely.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
It don't really matter.
Yeah. I'm 40.
I got gray hair and you don't. That's the only difference.
Exactly. I'm 45, so growing up in those time periods, it's fun to talk about those times. And like I grew up in New York. I'm in Dallas now, but I grew up in New York, and I wasn't like the b-boy stuff and all that. But I remember my cousins used to get the tile floors and lay it out and break dance and stuff like that, and graffiti. And then I got into the DJ through my uncle, who threw the block parties. And like I said, it wasn't a name. It was just things that they did. You had the breakers, you had the graffiti artists and stuff like that. So when you look back at it and you explain that, I explain that to my kids about hip hop, and and I'm like, this stuff you listen to isn't really hip hop, but we'll get into that conversation later. But it wasn't a thing back then. It was just, we were just enjoying the movement. So
I agree exactly. I don't really care that the music changed that much, because it's always going to change. But I thought it was definitely better back then myself.
Absolutely. Your project is kind of a product of that, right? You pull a lot of elements in there from the back in the day, the sounds. You got some boom bap in there, of course, and some great samples too. I love some of the samples you use in here, man.
A lot of the samples are actually from VHS tapes.
Yeah. Another conversation for another thing, right? VHS.
It's kind of dirty sounding, but I kind of like that too, right?
Yeah. So Pam Grier's Stepkids, why do we call it that? What's the meaning behind that? What's the thought process?
It's the second in a trilogy of records. It's going to be Pam. The first one was Pam Grier's Kids, Pam Grier's Stepkids, and then the next one's Pam Grier's Grandkids. And what I was trying to do was have different people, but it was just taking so long to get more people and the songs that I liked end up liking. But so some of the people reappear because whatever.
Yeah.
That's my people. But
Well, you got
the third one started now.
you got the family members that always show up to all the events, right? They don't bring anything to
100%.
they don't bring nothing to the event, but they bring their appetite and they leave. So that's the that's those. Yeah, and for those out there, Pam Grier was huge back in the 60s, 70s, I would say.
Yep,
That
70s.
the blaxploitation film era was her jam, where she played a lot of characters. Foxy Brown was the big one, and just
Beautiful woman.
still to this day, still looks like she hasn't aged a day. I remember the big comeback was the joint she did with Samuel L. Jackson and it wasn't Foxy Brown, was it?
Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown. There you go. It was Jackie Brown. Foxy Brown's another one. Jackie Brown when she made that comeback.
That's a good ass movie too.
Yeah, man. And Pam Grier. So when I thought about this, I was like, I already know this is gonna be funky. You know what I'm saying? As far as the sounds and what you did with it and everything like that. I know as a producer / DJ / artist, man, I know it's tough to corral the cats getting artists on a project, man. How long did it take you to put this one together? As far
Probably
as
about a year for each one. A year each.
All the tracks, were they specifically built for these artists and this particular project, or just kind of stuff you was kind of putting together and it came together that way?
I make probably at least 3 beats a week.
Okay.
So I have a folder for beats that I just put up for sale, and I have a folder for beats that I think are too good for that, and I keep for myself.
We'll keep these in the stash.
If I find an artist who I knew before and they're doing shit now or something, or even that I had never met before, I send them that folder.
Yeah. And when DJ Moose makes that phone call or sends that email, man, what's the response you always get on? Is it always like, let's get to work?
Yeah, let me hear it. It doesn't always happen, but they at least want to hear it.
You got to wrangle too many arms and everything like that.
Yeah.
And shout out to my man Thomas, man, who made this interview happen, man. Shout out to Thomas and his movement.
Tom Quinlan, man, Han Solo Records.
That's my guy, man. I love what he's doing out there, and I just love Canada, man. He's put me onto a lot of just Canada hip hop scene in general, man. A lot of dope artists up there that may get overlooked because, us in the States, we feel like we know everything, we know everybody. But whenever I'm introduced to people like yourself and other artists out there, man, it's just like amazing how much talent is out there right now, just killing it. And
there's so many people now that are old enough that they're making somewhat more. I don't want to say adultized hip hop, but just stuff that kind of makes more sense to people that are closer to our age.
Yeah, I got a partner. I got a partner. He calls that adult contemporary hip hop is what he calls his music.
100%. You still got to keep some dirt in there just to try and balance that. You know what I mean?
So how do you feel about that, man? Like we were just saying, like it's just it's so much talent out there, guys who are at the age of we got families, we got wives, we got kids, we got responsibilities, but we still making music. And Killer Mike just won a few Grammys, and he's in his close to 50s. Nas won the Grammys a couple years ago, and the older artists are selling out venues. We're doing boats now. We got rock the bells cruise and all that kind of stuff now.
I was just looking at that the other day. Actually, I was like, shit, I want to be on that cruise.
So hip hop.
No way.
Yeah, hip hop is growing up, and hip hop is still putting out a lot of talent at an older age now.
Yep.
How does that make you feel, man? Does it make you feel like the time machine is there and you still can put out good quality work and you won't get judged? Whereas before, people was like, if you was in your 30s, they considered you old, and even why are you still doing this?
Well, only people who say that though, just young little kids.
Yeah,
that's the people that are saying that.
Yeah,
because if in 20 years are they gonna feel the same? If they're still making music, no, they ain't gonna feel the same.
Yeah. Well,
they're gonna say, "Shit, why the fuck did I say that?" I'm like an asshole.
Yeah, they're not gonna be making music probably at that point.
Hell yeah! Like I said in one of my songs that I made an album a long ass time ago. It was just all dirt, but I said in one of the songs, I said, you ain't going to be a rapper in 10 years. You'll probably be a banker or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like working at the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not rap.
It's dope, man. It's so much talent out here now that, like, I when people always say it's no good music, I'm like, you guys are just turn the radio off and just go look, because there's so much talent out there all over the place now. It's like the NBA when it went from when they let the world come in. Now it's not as urban, so now it's the Euros are coming over playing and stuff like that. There's so much talent everywhere that it's like an even playing field now. The only difference is the budget, right? The artist like yourself compared to like another artist who's similar to you who's signed to a label, they've taken out that loan from the label, so they gotta work a little bit extra harder to make that money back. Whereas you can put a project out, make money off of it, get noticed, and move on to the next thing and not worry about it, not have that stress anymore like the other artists do. So, and it's
I got a full-time job on the other side.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'd rather do music myself, and that's what I actually call my real job. My other job, though, actually does pay the bills, so steadily. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'd say.
And if I had when I was listening to Daz Effects back in 1990, like 3 or 4. I would never have thought I'd be working actually in the sewer. I work for the sewer company.
So you can relate. You can relate to the lyrics even more now, right?
In a town like this, you make more money doing that than anybody else, right?
Yep. Yeah. It pays, like you said, it pays the bills and it funds the career, right? That's what I say.
Exactly.
That's what I say. I'll make sure the bills are paid, the wife's taken care of, the kids are taken care of, and I'll tell her, let me pinch a little bit off of that for my stuff, and I'm happy. I don't need anything else. I don't have a want for anything. You know what I mean? I got everything I need right here. Yep. Dope, man. So, for this project, did you release any visuals for this, or is it just all the audio output?
I made one video that I made myself.
Okay.
And it was just the sample for the beat that I made was off this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie was somewhat about a evil cult of people. And I can't remember what the movie's name was, but I took the visuals at the same time as I took the sample, because the sample's going and it's showing all this cult of people all dancing naked, but it's not really showing no bottom halves. Yeah. And they're all just dancing to this music, and I was like, once I add this hard ass beat to it and add bass and shit, if I put this just over top of the beat, it's gonna work exactly because they're just dancing to this music. And it's this song called Hallow Yabadoth by C, or the Drunken Arseholes. It's just a hard song. My man C, he's in half of my group called the Drunken Arseholes.
Nice. We
also release albums, and he's always just hard, very hard.
Yeah.
He hates the government. That's where it is right there.
Enough said, right?
Yeah.
I like the one skit track too that you got, Digging with Chin Chin. That's so it's dope. It's a story within the story, right?
I was for that one. I was like, I did it, and I had the idea, and I just didn't want to sit on it and wait for somebody else to write it. So I just said, "Fuck it, I'll write it."
I like it, man. I like the narration through it, and then the story's telling itself, and it then gets
like, this narration part is fucking intense as fuck.
That's what I kept thinking when I first heard it. I was in the car. I was like, man, where's the story heading? It sounds like it's gonna go left or right really quick.
Then it ends up being about freaking digging for records.
It's dope, man.
Suck if you just sample off YouTube.
Absolutely, man. So, the creative process for you, brother, like I said, this project is a very creative, dope creative project. A lot of dope features, a lot of dope writers on here. As far as you, man, how you enjoying this process of still creating now, and we are in the digital age, so you have some more options to use those old school techniques with new school technology. How are you enjoying it?
Oh, I'm loving it now. I just got this machine, the Pioneer DJ-X or whatever the fuck it's called.
Mm-hmm.
You could find any sample and take the drums out of it.
Okay.
So that's pretty much what I bought it for. It costs a lot of money, but you could just rent to own shit now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, pay as you go, right?
I'll be finding fucking samples that have great loud drums that sound like shit on them, and take the drums right off, and then just sample it again without the drums. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That shit is fucked. That's the shit that was magic in like the 90s.
Yeah.
If someone showed you that, you'd be like, that's not real. That thing's not real. How the hell did that work? But also the internet was kind of like magic too, right?
Absolutely. It's all kind of things to look for. You can just Google it.
Talking to you right now through the air is kind of magic.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy, man. Yeah. You can dig for anything. Just put a search bar and search somewhere, and you can find it no matter what. So every idea.
Someone who's an internet whiz could tell me how it works, and I still wouldn't even understand.
That's cool. You know, that's funny. I saw a video with Pete Rock recently. I guess he upgraded his hardware on his MPC. He just got one of the newest ones. And he was like blown away like with the technology, and I think
it's exactly the same thing. Yeah, the MPC, X, I think it's called.
Yeah, and he was
PCX.
Yeah, and I was just like, man, he's just so blown away with the technology. But like you said, it's the same thing, but it's a little different at the same time. So it's funny to kind of see people who kind of a generation how they do their thing, and we look at them like, man, how did he make that, or how did he do that? And they looking at the new stuff like, whoa, I can do 50 times things different now with this. So.
I might go back and redo like 15 beats. Fuck it.
I know it. I know one of my favorite things. I'm a huge Mobb Deep fan and Havoc's production, and I think I saw him. He upgraded recently. Not recently. I know he upgraded, and he was just kind of like, whoa. You know, if I had this when I was making shook ones, I probably would have never made shook ones.
That's true, because it would have sounded different.
Yeah, exactly, and the limitations of what he had at the time. So it's just wild how, you know, as a culture it evolves, that you work with the best technology at that time, and then you look back at it and it's like, you know, 3 to 5 years, it's like, that's old technology, and you're just thinking, what? I've spent thousands of dollars on this thing.
Yeah, 100%. The thing that I got to cost $3,000, it probably won't even be the same in a year. You know? If you discontinued, and you won't even be able to get parts.
Absolutely, man. Well, the project's out, man. Like I said, it's a really dope project. What other plans you got with this project? Besides, I know you're doing promo on it. You gonna shoot any more visuals for it, or are we just?
I'm still finding radio people. No more visuals. It's just gonna be. I'm going to send it a DJ pack, I think, for the, remember the old school song with Buck 65, Birdapres, and Hub City.
Okay.
And just send that out to, I've been contacting a bunch of different radio stations that Tom doesn't have in his list, and just keep adding them to my list, because I think I'm going to get him to do this for me every time from now on.
Nice.
Service to his people.
Absolutely, man. Well, you definitely got a home here, man. What we do is we have our guests who, if it's your first time, we officially induct you and we call you Boom Bap alumni. That means
thank you.
That means the door is always open. Whenever you got anything you want to promote, either Tom reach out to me, you reach out to me, and say, hey, man, I got to do so and so. Let's talk about it. Not a problem.
I got your phone number.
You got my number. Now. Yep. Text me, email me, whatever, man, and just let me know, man. And the door is always open. I got a few tracks loaded on our radio station. You know, we'll promote this project for you on the website and stuff like that. And
thank you.
You know, this is home for you now, man. So whenever you got anything cracking, just let us know. We'll take care of you. And I can't wait to hear the next one, man. I gotta go back and listen to the last one so I can catch up to the series, so I can feel like I'm in the know. And then, and then we'll prepare for the next one, man. So I'm definitely excited to hear that. And you know, much continued success to everything you're doing, man. I love the fact that, you know, I know your stories. You've been in the industry for a while. You've been in the game, just creating some dope work, and it's good to see people who generally enjoy what they do not get burned out on it, even if, you know, they have the ups and downs, and financially they may not come out on the other side like they thought they would, but they still got love for it, man. I can respect.
That's one thing I never did, was say, man, I'm going to quit this shit. It's not working out. No, I never said that.
Yeah.
I actually got true love for this culture.
Yeah.
And I always did since I was 16 years old. So.
That's same for me, man. I love doing this radio thing. I love the DJ stuff. I even, you know, I got my little MPC over there. I like making beats and
dope.
And I just love creating, man, and meeting people like yourself, man, and just collabing and networking, and, you know, it's never about the money. This is the fun, the expensive hobby, as my wife says. You have a very expensive hobby.
Yeah, 100%. Mine too.
So who you want to shout out before you get out of here, man?
Nobody, just me.
Just you. That's right. Shout out to the homie, DJ Moves. Go get that project, Pangria Step Kids. I know it's available on Bandcamp, right?
Yep, Bandcamp.
Okay. Let's go to Bandcamp. I said we always want to go where we can support the artist the most, where it benefits them the most. Streams are cool. So, but go purchase the project first and then stream it after the fact. But go purchase it first. Go support this project.
It's on my boy Kevin's label, Black Buffalo Records.
There you go. Pam Greer's Step Kids. It's a dope project you guys need in your hip hop collection. Has 13 really, really dope, really unique tracks. I don't think there's a sleeper on here at all. And so I said, even the skit track, I love, man. I love the narration of that, and I love the story.
At least it's funny.
It's funny, yeah. It's very enjoyable. So it's an enjoyable project. Different types of sounds on there. That's pretty dope, man. And it's a great job, man. So congratulations on this release.
Thank you.
All right, he goes by the name of DJ Moves. Shout out to my man Thomas Quinlan for setting this interview up. And we will have DJ Moves back on the show again whenever he got some new work. We connected now, man. And social media. What's up? You on social media at all? Are you on Instagram? Anything like that they can follow?
Facebook is Brian Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram is Big Moves 1.
Big Moves 1. Okay.
And that's it.
That's it. All right. Well, we're gonna be flooding your page, man, and then hopefully the supporters come through and support it and flood the page too, and we'll play a couple.
I accept everybody.
There you go.
Because all my shit's about the music. I don't care about the other stuff.
That's me right there, man. Well, I thank you for your time, brother. Thanks for rescheduling this again, man. I much appreciate it.
You.
And we will be right back. All right. We'll be right back.
All right.